I'm surprised we're getting this much Twilight already in the season. We've got a pretty cool animation sequence from Derby as we enter the episode. The main premise is that Twilight worries about a book she forgot to return to the Canterlot Library years ago. Basically, that's the main prompt, and then the writers just build off of that to see what they can do. I will say the freakout gets a little justified with the perfect record position and the amount of bits needed to be paid, but it's Spike's turn to have the Voice of Reason card this episode. But it turns out the old librarian, Dusty Pages, doesn't work there anymore.
You need to go and see First Folio in the grossly overdue book return office for ponies who should know better.
Yeesh, try to make an abbreviation for that. You know, I was kinda getting an Amending Fences vibe to this. Maybe we'll see. Moon Dancer! I'm glad to see her play a part in this okay. Bye, Moon Dancer. So now this episode takes a hard turn from where I was expecting at first. It turns into a long search for the old librarian. Of course, to fill time, we need a montage to looking for her. Also, I just want to take a moment to appreciate the music right here. It continues the suspense as it fades out from the waiting. At this point, you can start to tell what the ending it will most likely be like from the constant Voice of Reason Spike and the denying Twilight Sparkle. My biggest problem with the episode is the same thing I don't like about Uncommon Bond. Multiple montages with the same music gets boring and drags out the story. The first one was fine, but the second one started dragging it on like they needed to fill time. You'd think the first interaction with Dusty Pages would get to Twilight, but it takes a second talk to have a real moment. She basically talks about the freedom from perfection. The fact Twilight didn't even read the book, which was about perfection, is actually really humorous to me. Also, the build up to what would just be a small amount of bits due to the monthly cap has a kind of anticlimactic basis to it. Although the episode was pretty slow at times, I didn't mind it that much. Check it out. Whoa, what's going on? Oh no, it's the cuck alarm. Let's get through this then. Apparently Buckball is making a return as it's said to be bigger than ever now. Wait, let me get this straight. Not only are the main six the legendary elements of Harmony, but now they're inductees into the Buckball Hall of Fame? They're just getting their names everywhere. Then we see... him. Turns out he's not really into sports and is there for a special sun pony and her daughter, who's not really too fond of Quibble. Actually hit kinda hard when I first saw the interaction between him and the daughter. You can obviously tell she is not interested at all with her mother's new cold friend. So Rainbow Dash strokes her ego as she tries to talk Quibble Pants up, but it doesn't seem to go well. It is nice to see Clear Sky. Yes, different from that Clear Skies. Be reasonable with Quibble throughout most of the episode despite all of his efforts. Rainbow Dash tries to help Quibble become more sporty, but it is unbelievable how unathletic he is. Yes, it is a cartoon, but I just don't believe that anybody is this bad. Things escalate when they bring Quibble and his daughter down to play in the stadium against the champion Ponyville team. Seems a little unfair, doesn't it? But they even play it up to make Quibble look better, but that doesn't go well. Although it was hilarious to see Quibble try to justify it by pulling out the rulebook to the ref. Now where it gets the most emotional is at the end with a talk between Clear Sky and her daughter. The daughter asks why Clear Sky likes him and that he's not the same as her previous father. I really like how they don't go further than that. It leaves up to the audience's interpretation of what happened in the past. The lesson kinda goes to the daughter and Quibble that helps them bond more about interests. Another pretty alright episode. I heard a lot of people cringe after reading the synopsis to this months ago, but was it worth all that? Let's find out. Main premise is something you've probably seen while watching cartoons or children's sitcoms. A big event is coming up, in this case a dance, and one of the characters wants to change themselves for the sake of thinking that's what everyone else wants. In this case, it's Yona after Sandbar invites her to the upcoming dance. After Rarity runs over Yona with her cart, Yona asks Rarity for help. If you know anything about Rarity and preparing for events, you know we're in for a long ride this episode. We get a pretty catchy song that I think might be the best of the season so far. Not really much competition being that the only other one is from the Student 6. As each of the main six teach Yona about social etiquette, she is a typical rambunctious self. After lots of more training and teaching, Yona eventually becomes that. Now at this point, it's apparent that something is going to go wrong. It wouldn't be a complete storyline without another conflict. I have to say, one of the funniest things I've seen in this episode is Spike rolling away with his big DJ head, and that was pretty funny. We get a pretty emotional scene of sad Yona.
Yona sad, Yona sings sad songs, sad Yona.
And Sandbar talks to Yona that she's fine the way she is, and they make up. You could likely see this coming from a mile away as well. Rarity and other four apologize for some reason, even though Yona asked to be changed in the first place. And that's enough for them to win the trophy. I'm pretty sure no one else is calling bullcrap on this, am I right? Right, guys? And they end by almost shaking the entire school. Pretty predictable episode, but with some funny moments. Not as bad as I initially thought it was going to be. That's something.